It's the middle of the night. Your house is quiet in that heavy, almost suspended way it only gets at 2:17 a.m. The refrigerator hums softly down the hall. A streetlight leaks through the curtains, painting a pale rectangle across the bedroom wall. You roll over, half awake, and then you see it. Two eyes, not glowing, just watching. Your dog is sitting on the floor beside the bed, perfectly still, head slightly tilted, looking directly at you. You blink a few times, trying to focus. The moment they realize you're awake, their tail thumps once against the floor. Calm, casual, like nothing unusual just happened. Most dog owners laugh about this moment later. My dog is a little creepy at night. But that quiet scene, your dog sitting there, watching while you sleep, may not be random curiosity. It may be an ancient behavior that runs deep inside their brain. Most owners explain this moment in simple ways. Maybe your dog heard a noise. Maybe they were waiting for you to wake up. Maybe they just needed to go outside. And sometimes that's true. But researchers who study canine social behavior have noticed something odd about this nighttime watching. Dogs don't usually stare at sleeping people with excitement. They're not jumping, whining, or asking for anything. They're quiet, still, alert, almost like they're monitoring something. And that's where the common explanation starts to fall apart. Because in social mammals, quiet observation during another individual's sleep can serve a very specific function. Not curiosity, but protective vigilance, and your dog may be doing it for the same reason pack animals have done it for thousands of years. In 2015, neuroscientists studying dog-human relationships at Azabu University in Japan explored something unusual: how deeply dogs emotionally track their owners. The researchers observed dogs interacting naturally with their humans, talking, petting, and simply being in the same room. Before and after these interactions, the scientists measured oxytocin levels in both the dogs and the people. Oxytocin is strongly associated with attachment. It's the same hormone that rises between parents and infants, reinforcing trust and emotional bonding. What the researchers discovered was striking. When dogs and their owners looked into each other's eyes, oxytocin levels increased in both species. But more importantly, the dogs began displaying behaviors similar to those seen in children with a strong attachment figure. Psychologists call this the secure base effect. In human development, a child relaxes and sleeps more deeply when a trusted caregiver is nearby. But the child's brain still monitors that caregiver's presence. If the parent moves away, the child often wakes or becomes restless. Dogs appear to show a comparable pattern. When their primary human is nearby, especially during vulnerable moments like sleep, the dog's brain remains partially attentive, not anxious, just aware. Which means that when your dog sits quietly beside the bed, watching you sleep, their brain may be doing exactly what attachment systems are designed to do, keeping track of the one individual that matters most. To understand why a dog might quietly watch over a sleeping human, we need to look at what happens inside the brain during social bonding. When dogs interact with their owners through touch, eye contact, voice, or even shared space, their brains release oxytocin. This chemical acts like a neurological reassurance signal. It lowers activity in the brain's fear centers and strengthens social attention toward the bonded individual. You can imagine oxytocin as the brain's version of a biological spotlight. It highlights one specific individual in the environment as emotionally important. For a dog, that individual is usually their primary owner. This chemical process changes how the dog's brain processes the world around them. Instead of scanning every movement equally, their attention system becomes biased toward monitoring that person. But here's where it becomes fascinating. Even when a dog enters a relaxed state, their brain doesn't fully shut down awareness of that attachment figure. Mammalian brains often maintain what neuroscientists call partial vigilance around important social partners. Think of it like a dim security light rather than a floodlight. The brain is calm. Stress levels are low, but a small part of the system is still quietly checking that everything is normal. So when your dog sits beside the bed and watches you while you sleep, their brain may be doing something subtle but powerful, maintaining the chemical and neurological connection that tells them their social world is still intact. Long before houses had doors, beds, or electric lights, early dogs slept beside humans in much harsher environments. 15,000 years ago, survival during the night was uncertain. Darkness meant predators. Strange sounds in the distance. Movement in the brush that no human ear could always detect. In small human camps, sleep was one of the most vulnerable states a person could enter. But humans were not alone. Early dogs, descended from wolves that gradually adapted to human settlements, had sharper hearing, faster reaction times, and a natural instinct for social vigilance. Within wolf packs, individuals often rotate roles. Some sleep deeply, while others remain partially alert to guard the group. When dogs joined human communities, that instinct didn't disappear. It simply redirected. Archaeological evidence shows that humans and dogs were living and resting side by side thousands of years ago. Over generations, the animals that stayed close to people and monitored them closely were the ones most likely to survive alongside us. So the quiet scene beside your bed at night may not be new behavior. It may be the modern echo of an ancient partnership. One species sleeping, while the other keeps watch. What's interesting is that this nighttime connection doesn't only influence your dog, it also affects your brain. Research in human-animal interaction shows that when people sleep near their dogs, or even sense their presence in the room, our nervous systems often shift into a calmer state. Oxytocin rises slightly, cortisol drops, and brain activity associated with threat detection decreases. Your brain interprets the presence of a trusted animal as part of your social safety network. In simple terms, your dog being there can make your nervous system feel less alone while you sleep. So while your dog's brain may be quietly monitoring you, your brain is doing something equally important. It's relaxing more deeply because that familiar animal presence signals that the environment is safe. Two species resting in the same room, both feeling more secure because the other one is there. Because this behavior is tied to attention and emotional monitoring, changes in it can sometimes signal something subtle in your dog's internal state. Dogs that occasionally watch their owners at night are usually relaxed and socially connected. Their brain simply recognizes you as an important member of their social group. But if a dog that normally sleeps calmly suddenly becomes overly watchful, restless, or constantly staring, it can sometimes mean their stress levels are higher than usual. Changes in environment, new household routines, unfamiliar sounds, or even mild discomfort can keep a dog's nervous system from settling fully. On the other hand, if a dog that once slept nearby suddenly withdraws and sleeps far away, that can also reflect emotional or physical changes. Dogs rarely explain problems loudly. More often, they communicate them through small shifts in familiar behavior. So tonight, if you wake up for a moment in the quiet dark and notice your dog sitting nearby, just watching. That scene may not be strange at all. For thousands of years, dogs and humans have shared the night the same way. One sleeping deeply, The other, keeping a soft awareness of the world around them. Not out of fear, out of connection. Your dog's brain simply knows where the most important member of their world is. Right there in the bed. And if you've ever wondered why your dog sometimes wakes up the exact moment you move, the science behind that behavior reveals something even more fascinating about how closely their brain tracks yours.